Hello students. Today we will learn about chapter number 11, Force and Pressure. In this chapter we will discuss the various types of forces and the effects produced by these forces. We will also study the pressure exerted by solids, liquids and gases, including atmospheric pressure. Let us start by discussing force. What is force? All of us know that some efforts is required to put a stationary object into motion or to stop a moving object. In our everyday life, we experience this as a muscular effort and say that we must push or pull an object to change its state of motion. The concept of any type of force is based on this push or pull. Thus, in the simplest form, we can define as a force as anything that can cause a change to any state of object is called force, or a push or pull on an object is called force. Effects of force. Force cannot be seen. A force can be judged only by the effects it can produce in various objects around us. A force can produce the following effects. First, a force can move a stationary object. Second, a force can stop a moving object. Third, a force can change the speed of a moving object. A force can change the direction of a moving object. A force can change the shape of an object. Contact and non-contact forces. There are 5 common types of forces which we notice in our everyday life. These are muscular force, frictional force, magnetic force, electrostatic force, and gravitational force. All types of forces can be divided into two main groups: contact force and non-contact force. Contact forces. A force which can be exerted by an object on another object only through physical touching is called a contact force. The examples of contact forces are muscular force and frictional force. The force exerted by the muscles of the body is called muscular force. Both human beings and animals exert muscular force to do work. The force which always opposes the motion of one body over another body is called frictional force. Non-contact forces. A force which can be exerted by an object on another object even from a distance without touching each other is called a non-contact force. There is no physical contact between the object which exerts the force and the object on which force is exerted. The examples of non-contact forces are magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force. Magnetic force. The force exerted by a magnet is called magnetic force. Electrostatic force. The force exerted by an electrically charged object is called electrostatic force. Gravitational force. The pull exerted by objects possessing mass is called gravitational force. Pressure. Pressure is produced when a force acts on an object. In most cases, an object exerts force on another object by making contact with it or by touching. Pressure is the force acting on a unit area of the object. The pressure depends on two factors: force applied and area over which force acts. The same force can produce different pressure depending on the area over which it acts. For example, when a force acts over a large area of an object, it produces a small pressure. What if the same force acts over a small area of the objects is produce a large pressure? We will now discuss the pressure exerted by liquid. The substance such as water, oil, alcohol, petrol and mercury etc. are liquids. All the liquids exert pressure on the base and wall of their containers. Through pressure is exerted by all the liquids, but since water is the most common liquid around us, liquids also exerted pressure on the walls of the vessel in which they are stored. The formation of fountains of water from the leaking pipes of water supply pipeline tells us that water exerts pressure on the walls of its container. Here the walls of water carrying pipes. A liquid exerts pressure in all directions, even upwards. Actually, the pressure at any point in a liquid acts equally in all directions. Pressure exerted by gases. The substances such as hydrogen, helium, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide, etc., are gases. All the gases exert pressure on the walls of their container. Though pressure is exerted by all the gases, but since air is the most common gas, air pressure arises due to the constant collisions of the tiny molecules of the gases present in air with the walls of the container in which it is enclosed. High air pressure produced by the gas molecules on the walls of balloons cause it to expand and get inflated. The two examples that gases exert pressure are when air is filled into balloon with our mouth, the balloon gets inflated, and when air is filled into bicycle tube with a pump, the tube gets inflated and makes the tire feel hard. Atmospheric pressure. We are on Earth and there is a lot of air above us. The layer of air above the Earth is called atmosphere. Atmospheric pressure is the air pressure which is exerted by the weight of air present in the atmosphere. In other words, atmospheric pressure is due to the weight of air present in the atmosphere above us. Just as the pressure in a liquid acts in all directions, in the same way atmospheric pressure also acts in all directions, even upwards.